Hi, everybody. Thanks for being on to Guest Mentors again today. We're going to keep this nice and short and sweet today because he's a very, very busy man, but absolutely superb drummer. And let's let him announce himself. Go straight into drummer stats. So, your name, please, sir.
Hi everyone. My name is Derrick McKenzie, and I'm happy to be here with Lars today and for you guys. Great.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Derrick. Right, and okay, years playing.
Years playing. There's a good question. Quite a long time. I started at the age of 5, and kind of slowly got myself into it. You know what I mean? Into drumming with coat hangers and things like that, banging on the floor and all that. But took it up seriously when I was about 10, really. Between the ages of like maybe 10 and 12 or 13, I decided to take it up a bit more seriously. So I'd say from I was semi-pro at 14. Let's put it
Cool.
that way. Semi-pro
Nice.
at 14. Yeah.
Brilliant. And groups and artists that you play for, past and present.
Jamiroquai is who I'm playing for at the minute. So I've been doing that gig for 30 years. Come January, 30 years. And then before that, I was playing with a band called Urban Species. They're a hip hop band, kind of jazz, hip hop, soul kind of band. So I played with them for about 3 years. I also played with a band called Freaky Realistic, but that was only for a short time, maybe 6 months or so. I wasn't in the band; I was just part of the project, just doing their gigs and stuff. Prior to that, I was in a band called Candyland, who I was in with that band for quite a few years. Did an album, signed to Fiction Records, who signed The Cure, and basically did all their albums releases and stuff. And prior to that, I was kind of just doing session work. My very first band I joined was a girl called Toyin Adekali, reggae singer, who basically gave me my first break because we were in the same class at school. She was already into music, recording and everything. And she basically saw me tapping on the tables and just said, you never, you never know. If I ever need a drummer, come and join me. You know what I mean? But consequently, I kind of went down a different route, and so we kind of lost contact and stuff. But she kept doing music, I kept doing music, and then literally whilst at school, still at school, she said that her drummer was leaving, and would I like to come along and like audition for her band? And to which I did, and I got the job, and she basically gave me my first professional break. Let's put it that
Oh,
way.
cool.
She gave me
Oh,
my
brilliant.
her gig was the first gig I ever got paid for.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, brilliant.
while still at school, so to speak. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was nice. You know what I mean? And she gave me a lot of insight into the industry because she's completely independent. I mean, she's still singing now. She does like reggae music.
Hmm.
She's based over in Dallas, but she does really well at the minute. She does really well. She's a Christian, like myself, and we stay in contact all the time, speak all the time, find out how we're both getting on and stuff. But yeah, she's doing good, so I'm really happy for her,
Oh, brilliant.
and hopefully I will get to play with her again to bring back the memories.
Yeah. So the musical connection between you two is still there then, strong.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, without a
Fantastic.
doubt, without a doubt. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, brilliant.
she's like family to me. So yeah, she's great. She's
Well,
great. Bless her.
funny that the school thing brings into the next question, which is quite good, which is are you self-taught or schooled, so to speak,
I'm
drumming wise?
self-taught, basically 99.999%.
Yeah.
Um, I'm definitely self-taught, with advice from very good drummers along the way. I did my first main lesson was with a guy called Lloyd Ryan,
I
who's
know
like a
Lloyd, yeah.
yeah,
He's
Lloyd Ryan, yeah, yeah.
amazing,
So
man.
he was like my first, basically my I'm gonna say my one of my biggest mentors, basically, because he's such a great is a comedian. That's first and foremost. How he made drumming fun,
Hmm.
basically for me. And I had quite a few lessons with him, and he was great. Showed me quite a lot of things. Put me onto the whole rudiment thing as well, and the kind of big band. kind of vibe. It's not what I play now, obviously, but he kind of he influenced me into kind of picking up that vibe with the music that I was doing and how I could bring it into the music that I was playing at the time. But he was a great teacher, such a great teacher, and I loved playing with him. I think the only reason why I stopped going to Lloyd was because I was in North London and he was in South West London. So it was really like a massive deal for me to go from North London. It was like an all-day affair, basically.
Yeah.
For an hour. But every lesson was great. Every lesson was always great. So I definitely don't regret that. I had lessons from I had lessons with Kaz Rodriguez. Kaz. So with Kaz, who's an amazing drummer, just to get some kind of techniques and things from him. And he gave me a couple of lessons, but amazing lessons.
Yeah.
But my biggest mentor for my drumming was a guy called Kenrick Rowe. Back in my reggae days, back when I was with Toyin and stuff, he was the one that put me onto rudiments.
Nice.
He told me about drum rudiments. He saw me drumming and said, he goes, "Oh, do you practice rudiments?" I'm like, "No, what are they?" And he told me what they were, told me what book to buy and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's a great drummer, good at reggae, good at funk, good at soul, really good at jazz. Really good at jazz. And he was the first guy that I knew that took drums super seriously, like the whole everyday practice thing for hours on end and all that. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, Kenrick is actually my biggest mentor in my career. He's a blessing. He's great. Still drumming over UB40, I believe.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I'm a self-taught drummer myself as
well.
Oh,
cool. Great stuff.
Do believe that the people around you become the best mentors, really, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the reason why I don't particularly see myself as the most schooled player, and I play what I play and I'm good at what I do.
Right. Yeah.
And that's kind of where this mentorship comes about as well, because all I ever want to be able to do is pass on the knowledge from myself and others to people that don't have that knowledge yet.
Right. Yeah.
And so I can completely appreciate that. But
do you play rock music and stuff? What do you play? Reggae,
I started
soul,
originally in rock.
Okay.
But the irony that we didn't speak about this before is I actually MD a Jamiroquai tribute.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I MD'd the one called Space Cowboy, which is Midland's based one.
Okay,
so
all right, cool.
I've done that 11 years now.
Wow, cool.
But then,
have to come and see you guys.
Yeah. Well, don't judge.
No, absolutely no way. Absolutely no way.
Yeah, so I've been doing that Jamiroquai one for about 11 years, and then
nice.
But then I do a few more shows.
Cool.
I've just done Lipstick on Your Collar, which is like a 50s, 60s one.
Right.
And then George
Michael.
Theatre?
Is that theatre thing?
That's theatre, yeah. Yeah. And then George Michael. So a lot of them are theatres, but they're still, live gigs. They're not it's not pit work. Yeah. It's not really that.
Oh, okay, not pit work, right. Yeah. Okay. So there's obviously not reading, you just go on, you're actually on stage doing your thing, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great.
So that they're good shows are nice, and then a few original funk, pop and soul groups here and there. And
cool.
I started off with a hip hop band called the Anomalies and that type of thing.
Right.
So try to be very well rounded,
Rounded, yeah.
Play as much as possible. When the Lipstick on Your Collar thing came up, it's only the other week. It's the first time I could properly sink myself into 50s and 60s since I taught myself playing to like playing along to Johnny Be Good and then like Sex Machine and all those kind of tracks.
Okay.
So to be able to revisit a lot of that on this show, because I did the Blues Brothers tour as well a few years back.
Right, yeah. Nice. So good tracks in that as well, isn't it?
There's some fantastic tracks in that. Yeah, you don't really realise
it's quite high energy as well, isn't it? There's lots of energy in that track in that show, right?
Yeah, totally.
Musically, I'm talking from a musical point of view.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, and it's nice to sink your teeth into those.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, but so now you know a little bit about me as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, shall we jump into our first proper question from someone? So this is from Emily Sykes from Nevada.
Okay.
And she says, how do you approach composing drums for a new song?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Normally, when I listen to tracks, I kind of work out. I listen to the lyrics, the rhythm side of the lyrics, and what's going on within the track itself, and then try and match my beat to what's going on within that track. So I don't necessarily follow the bass line or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I think musical as opposed to beats.
Yeah.
I try and be musical with my drums, so I try and match the vocals, to be honest with you. I try and be musical with the vocals, try and what's the word I could use? Rhythmic with the vocals. Try and be rhythmic with the vocals. Hence why I'm particularly known for my hi-hat work.
Yeah.
Because my hi-hat work tends to follow what the vocals are doing, or something at the high end of the track. We'll be doing guitar or something, So my approach is very much keep a really good foundation, but also make the top part of the kit, i.e. the hi-hats and toms, work musically with the track.
Yeah.
That's my approach. Just be musical. That's my approach. Be musical with what's going on with the track. I like to, I start off very basic, very, very basic, and then advance up into, once I get to know the track more, I can then just go more and more into the nooks and crannies of the track that I'm working with. So, I might start off with do cat. Do you know what I mean? Something really simple. That is the basis of the track anyway, or depending on the timing, whether it's 7/4 or whatever, 7/8 or whatever. And then I would see how I can develop that more, working within what's going on within the track and not overplay.
Almost building blocks, kind of.
Building blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best way. I think that's, to me, it works for me. It works for me a lot of the time. And because I started off that way, even when I was a kid, I've managed to develop it in a way that it works quickly for me now. You see, and I record, stop, listen, record, stop, listen. Do you know what I mean? And also what I tend to do now is do a session, record it, give it to the producer or the artist or whoever. Then I'd say, do you know what? I think I could do that better. And so I go back into the studio, because I've got the advantage, do you know what I mean? Or the opportunity to do that, and just re-record my drums again and make it better, a bit more solid.
So you can give it a bit of a kind of a constant reviewing during the process. And
exactly.
Bring it,
exactly.
Find that final formula that really works for the song.
Yeah. It's like, it's like guitarists. Guitarists wants to go over and over their parts. Bass guitarists go over and over their parts. Vocalists go over and over. Why shouldn't a drummer? So exactly. I do that. So we're not drum machines. We're humans. So I just think we have to take that approach of sometimes the opportunity doesn't always present itself, but if you're honest with yourself, honest with the people that you work with, you do a good job to begin with, they're really, really happy. But then you listen back to it and you go, actually, do you know what? I think I could play that better. Can I go in and do it again? And they just say, oh, fine, because it's exactly the same kit. My kit isn't actually broken down. It's actually set up all the time.
Yeah.
So the mics and everything are always the same. So they're getting the same sound. Excuse me. So it's very consistent.
Nice.
So they have 3 or 4 takes that they can work with, essentially.
Yeah, and surely that's then that's a producer's dream, in the respect that they've got these options. They've got their choices. And I suppose then, if it is a track where it's not so fully live anyway, they can then piece together the best bits that they love.
The best bits,
even if they like the mistakes and all from one bit, and then they like
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a great way of looking at it. Yeah. Nice. Right. Okay. Should we jump on to another one? So Michael Edwards from the UK has asked, these days, do you think drummers can make a sustainable career just playing the drums?
Depends on your gig.
Yeah.
Depends on your gig. I'm just going to turn on this plug so that my battery doesn't run out.
No worries, mate. Yeah, sure thing.
Oh, that's it. Oh, there we go. Otherwise, it'll end up going blank and you'd be like, what happened there, mate?
What happened? Yeah.
Do you know what? I got asked this question yesterday. Funnily enough, I was at a barbecue and I got asked this question yesterday. And I said, depending on the gig, you know, depending on if you've got a permanent gig, which is just ongoing and keeps going on for years, great. That's like luck of the draw. But my advice would be to do something else. And I don't mean do another job. If you want to stay in music, what I mean is do engineering, do production, do write. Do you know what I mean? Do the session work, do the teaching, have something else going on as well. You can make a living, but whether it's enough to kind of pay your mortgage,
it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because it can
debatable.
All be down to, and it can be down to also personnel, couldn't it? People. You could be in the best band in the world, and then something could happen to someone, which subsequently means that group is over, or that entity stops.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I suppose my little take on that, snippet on that, would be exactly what you say in the respect of, you know, train yourself to still be able to do like the session work or bits of pit work or some studio recordings, or learn how to use a computer. You know, stay within the industry. You know, but take those little things that you can do. You know.
My friend's wife asked me that question, and it was for her friend's son, basically. And I said, look, because he's a drummer and now he wants to go on to do something else. He's only 17. He's got his grade 8 in drumming. I'm like, do you know what? Tell him to stick with his drumming. He can do the session work with that. He can go out and do gigs with that. Fine. And he can earn a living, but he should go, and he's going to do a degree or something in music production or something. So I said, well, look, if he does a music production, he then has the advantage of still doing his drumming and doing his music production. So he could learn how to record drums, guitars, bass properly, set up his own little studio and make money from that on the side, as well as doing the drumming, doing the sessions for the people that are coming to record at his studio, do mixing and mastering for people bringing in. Do you know what I mean? You know, so he has the kind of best of both worlds, you know, as well as learn a melodic instrument, i.e. piano.
Yeah, it puts him in the position of being able to go, oh you want me to drum on this track? No problem. Well, why don't you come and do half of it at my studio? You know.
Yeah, exactly. And he could do it on his laptop whilst he's wherever. Do you know what I mean? Because technology allows us to do that. You can mix on your laptop now.
Because that's the thing, I suppose. Fundamentally, being as just a sole musician, that you know, it's that kind of career path.
Exactly.
Even on the downtime, even if you had, you know, a fantastic secure career. Personally, myself, I would want to be able to be doing other bits anyway, because you can get bored and stale as well, can't you? So
Exactly. And also, I found that quite a few drummers don't want to step outside of the drumming.
Yeah,
they just want to drum because, you know, whether they want to be the best drummer in the world or what, I don't know. They just know drumming. They just want to stick with drumming. And I've asked a lot of really good drummers this question, which is, do you write? And a lot of them say no. I'm like, you should get into it because you've got a good sense of rhythm. And you're playing music really, really well and you've got the feel. You should write and produce your own stuff. Yeah. I really encourage all drummers to do it.
It opens up another avenue then, doesn't it? And
completely.
And then if you're talking solely business or financial, then all of a sudden you open up yourself for a royalty bump that you may not have had. It's just, I'm just I just hit things, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's how people will see you. Just just the drummer. But if they see, because then the drummer then becomes an artist, like your Harvey Masons and all that. You see what I mean? You know, your drummers then become artists, and then they become like your Steve Jordans, artists, producers, drummers, session. You know, he's just opened up his own world of income stream. Let's put it that way, of income stream, and learning about the business as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's worth its weight in gold anyway. Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Definitely learning about the business, and don't be afraid to to say no when the deal is wrong.
Yeah. Sometimes more no's are better than constant. Yeah. Don't be a yes man or woman, basically.
Yeah. Don't be a yes man or woman. Just say that's not working for me. That's not right.
Yeah.
You know, and be prepared to. I'm not saying walk away from the biggest deal in your whole career. What I'm saying is everything's negotiable.
Yeah,
you know,
and it has to be negotiable for yourself, really, doesn't it? Because it's also based on your own skill sets as well. You know, you could be offered something that's fantastic, but you're actually like, well, I don't see myself on this gig anyway. You know, whether it's like point of view or playing style or skill set, or whatever.
Or just not paying enough.
There's the bare bones of it, isn't it? Yeah, can this pay my mortgage?
No. Thank you, but no thank you.
Exactly. Oh, brilliant.
But yes, it's sustainable, but I would say do something else as well.
That's my advice. It's like, I hate it when people say have a plan B, because it almost feels like that it's you're a musician, are you? Okay, well, what do you do for a day job? But like you say, you know, the plan B can be within what you already do. It's another branch on that tree.
Steered in the right way, for sure.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. Let's jump on to another question then. Let's see what we got. Okay. So this one's from Thailand, and nice. Apologies if I pronounce this name wrong. So it's Totsakan Chadee.
Okay.
And they have asked, when approaching drum solos, how do you work out what to play, and are there any rudiments or stickings that you favour when soloing?
Wow.
It's a big old question.
When I'm doing, do you know what? When I'm doing drum solo, I don't work out as such. No. I just basically take what I practice and then play it in a musical way against whatever is going on. Do you know what I mean?
You kind of use the bars as landmarks.
Exactly. So if there's chords going on, you could be more musical. Do you see what I mean with your drums? If there's no chords going on and yet you've got 16 bars to play this drum solo, you then have to use your musical, and I'm going to say musical in the way of musical ability to make that drum solo enjoyable. That's the word I'm looking for the punters, because the punters, there's too much music for punters to hear. It's too much music, especially in 16 bars. You know, so what you got to do is give them something to dance to whilst they're listening to you do your thing. Totally, I tend to favor, I'm a kind of, I don't know, gosh, I do anything between eighth notes and 32nd notes in my solos, right? So whenever I do a drum solo, I would do, say, a 16th note paradiddle, then go into an 8th note straight roll. The punters get it. Do you know what I mean? The punters get it, right? I think I'm more of the different types of paradiddles kind of guy in my solos. Inverted, reverse, normal paradiddles, paradiddle diddle, so like, you know, the six note thing, and just a straight roll. You know, rather than going hell for leather and making it really complicated, I just try to, I tend to go for less is more.
groove and build is what I
Yeah,
like
groove
to
and
do. You know?
build, and then just slowly just make it more and more rhythmic. I'm a rhythmic man, so I tend to use rhythms more, so the punters get it. I tell you, it's a really good soloist that I've seen, and I've seen drum quite a few solos. Is Bruno Mars's drummer, Ipangram, Ipanda.
Yes, I think I know yeah, I think
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm going to say he's got that down, that whole entertaining solo thing
Yeah.
down. A bit like Buddy Rich, really, you know, but not jazz.
That's
He's
it.
not,
It's there for
he's not jazz.
the viewers, not the musician.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So he makes it. So whenever he's doing you'll always hear him doing a four to the floor a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And he'd be doing his solo over it, but his solo is very rhythmic, and it makes a lot of sense. So if you're looking for entertainment, that's the way to go, depending on how you feel. It depends on how you feel, depends on the track. My solos are rhythmic based, more than anything else. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so, man. Yeah, it's nice. But at the end of the day, it does answer the question because it's all your views on this anyway. So it's want people to be able to absorb what you think and feel over it. So
right,
it's the old thing of no answer is a wrong answer because it's your own opinion, isn't it?
It's just my own opinion. Yeah,
exactly.
And of course, I try out new things as well. So like before a show, I try out something new in the changing room. I go, I'm going to try that tonight, and then I'll get to the show and I'm like, do you know what? Maybe I won't try that.
Yeah. You're brave before you get, and then you get on. No.
Or it sounds really good in sound check, and it comes to the show, you're like, I know I'm going to fluff this up, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant! But yeah, that's fantastic. So we've got 2 more questions in. I hope you've got enough time.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you carry on. It's cool. Yeah,
great stuff. So this next question comes from Andrea Nowak from Poland.
Oh,
and she says, "What do you think is the best way to approach artists when you want to work with them?" So I guess it's a networking question, really, isn't it? Or should you, in the first place? I suppose it depends on the artist, doesn't it?
Well, I suppose one of the best ways is to genuinely be into their music, right? You have to genuinely be into their music. And then, of course, are we talking in a live situation or on email?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So when you meet them, is it meeting them at a gig? Is it?
Yeah. Is it
or just generally?
Them? Yeah, I suppose if we generally, took it as a general approach, yeah.
I would say then. Sorry. Okay, let's make sure the dog's all right. I think really it's to be into the music that the. Careful, don't fall off it. The best thing is to be into the music that the artist is doing, right? That's the first thing. And then if you approach them in a way which is very complimentary, because one leads on to the other. Like in the music, you could then go to that person and say, I really like your style of music, blah, 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 which would then lead on to other things like, where you touring or whatever, what are you doing? There isn't really a way, because it's normally a case of they would see you.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's normally a case of they would see you and then they would like what you do. So then they would approach you. If you approach an artist, it's cool. It's great. I think just be polite.
Yeah, I suppose it would be. I suppose the only way would be to you'd approach them to just put you on their radar, and that'd be it.
Yeah, exactly. Hence why being polite goes a long way. Not arrogant.
And as you said in the first place, really liking what they do.
Yeah,
you
can't approach like what they do.
Yeah, if you go from a soulless business point of view and go, okay, well, they're where the money's at, so I want to do that gig.
Exactly.
you're not going to get that gig. And even if
You're
you
not going
did
to get
get
the
that
gig.
gig, you're going to be off it within 30 seconds because you're
Yeah.
not going to
Well,
get on with anyone. You're not going to appreciate the music, what the ethos of what everyone's doing. Because
exactly.
it's still a very artistic, personal business, isn't it?
Yeah,
That we're
exactly.
in, you know.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I totally agree with you. It's very artistic, and you have to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
You have to enjoy what you do. You don't want to be a slave to music or slave to an artist. You want to be able to enjoy the music, you know.
And that shouldn't really matter whether you are doing, you know, a pub gig, a wedding
Exactly.
band, pit work, or
Yeah,
a complete original artist that you get to put your input on.
exactly.
It doesn't matter what you do down that smorgasbord of stuff, music that we play, as long as you're like, when you are there and you're doing it, you're like, yes, give me more of this.
Give me more of that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, yeah, it's about being polite, be into the music that the artist or person is doing, band or whatever are into. But you know, and as much as it's maybe a non-business way of thinking, but one leads into the other, being polite goes a billion miles.
Yeah.
And being nice, you know, and having the right attitude, because people pick up on it.
Yeah, even in a situation where you're having an off day and you know, I think we've all done it in the respect that we may have a bad gig or whatever, and you come off that stage, and the last thing you probably want to do is talk to some people or whatever. You know, and my solution to that is to either disappear entirely, so I cannot be, or
which is always a good way out.
Yeah, or if someone does come up, take 30 seconds of my mind, take deep breath, still be as humble as pie.
Yeah.
And then make your excuses, you know, because you know,
Yeah,
for all you know, that one person that you've just spoken to could be the key to your next gig, or they could
the
just
key.
be a
That's
punter.
right. Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't know, you know. Keep your mind open to keep your options open.
Keep your options open. That's right. Yeah. I think just being polite and liking the music that the person's doing, and then being complimentary, and then if you want to work with that person, politely give them your contact details if they want it. If you can strike up a strong enough conversation and you feel comfortable enough to do it, you know. But I think just being polite enough, because one thing leads on to the other, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Being polite in the first place, being complimentary, and I don't mean sucking up to people, I'm just talking about being genuinely complimentary, and then talking about styles of music, and then just kind of getting into some sort of good conversation, and then you can say, here's my number, if you need me at any time, blah 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 blah. You know, I do it.
That's it. And then they can contact you or not.
And they can contact me or not. You know, exactly that.
And that's it. Don't get too hung up on it either,
don't get too hung up if they're not interested. If they're not interested, then they're just not interested. It's just how they are. Maybe they're having an off day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, brilliant. I think that's they've hit the nail on the head with that one. Cool. So we've got one more question, and it's more of an equipment question actually. So Matthew Rodrick from Canada has asked, what's your opinion on acoustic versus electric drum kits? It's quite an open question.
Really. Acoustic versus electric. Sounds are different. Approach in playing is different.
Very much so, yeah.
The dynamics are different. It doesn't matter what you do on an electric. It's still not the same as hitting a real snare drum. A snare skin, you know, the tone is different, because remember the electric is emulating what the real drum does. So definitely master your skill on the real drum if you can, or a drum pad or whatever. And then when you get onto the electric pad, you just adapt, because you have to adapt. It's a completely different way of playing. I know I saw a rock drummer actually in Portugal last year, and he's a really good rock drummer. I can't remember his name now. Blonde hair, he's got the spike thing going through his hair and all that. He's an old school guy, but he's a great drummer, great rock drummer, right? And he plays really well on acoustic. And then he played He did like a demonstration on an electric kit, and it was, his approach was like he was playing a acoustic kit.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
But the sound, you could tell he was an acoustic player. First and foremost, he was an acoustic player, and then when he came to playing on the electric, it was it sounded completely different. You know what I mean? The actual approach and everything was, but not in a bad way, because what he was playing is exactly the same, but you could tell that the dynamics were different. His dynamics coming from the body going to the kit were different. You know. So the difference is, I think you can't beat the acoustic kit.
No, you can't.
You can't beat the acoustic kit. I think the acoustic kit is definitely brings out the character of the player more so than the electric kit.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I would definitely favor acoustic over electric, but I use electric as an accessory to the acoustic.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I don't use it as a be all and end all. I use it as an extension of the acoustic kit. So I use extra pads. I'll use an electronic kick drum. It's just an extension of what I'm already doing.
You can almost hybrid a kit then with.
So it's a hybrid. Yeah, I use both when I'm doing the Jamiroquai stuff. It's hybrid. Do you know what I mean? And I just did a gig with Purple Disco Machine. Do you know Purple Disco Machine?
Yeah.
So I did a gig with him where I play in live kit. And, you know, and we were talking about, do I use an acoustic kick drum? I'm like, do you know what we could do? And I said, look, you provide the kick drum because you're a dance producer. You provide the kick drum, whatever, and I'll play top kit over what you do. Do you know what I mean? And then if you want me to play full kit on anything, I can play full kit. And we did like 4 tracks where I played full kit.
Yeah.
And we also did tracks where we did that hybrid thing. So he did the kick drum because that's related to his music. And then I added my top kit stuff over the top, which apparently went down well. So I'm not complaining, but you know what I mean? You know, it works. And it's an extension of what's going on.
That's it. I mean? You literally treat the electric and the acoustic as 2 different strings to your bow. They're 2 different types of instrument. You know, it'd be like a guitarist picking up a Fender for one style and then going, oh well, I now need an old Gretsch for this other style. Or a Gibson for that one.
A Gibson, or an acoustic. The approaches are different, right?
Yeah.
The playing techniques and approaches are completely different. So
obviously the electrics have the advantage for those that are in boxy little houses and practice wise. But if you're practicing for a live show, you're going to be on acoustic. Well worth just, even if you've got to pay to pop into a rehearsal studio or set your acoustic kit up. So have a proper bash first.
A couple of hours.
Yeah,
exactly.
Otherwise, like you said earlier, you'll go into that kit with an electric drum kit approach.
Yeah, exactly.
And it won't sound how you thought it was going to.
Exactly. No, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, I do that when I'm doing because I don't have a drum kit at home. My drum kit's elsewhere, so I go to studios, rehearsal studios. I mean, I just use their kits. It doesn't matter. Drum's a drum for me, So I just go in and I just play the songs through on whatever's there, just so that I can just get the feel of being on an acoustic kit playing those parts, But I know when it gets to playing my own kit, I'll feel a lot more comfortable because it's my sound, my kit, and I've basically learned how to play the tunes on a drum kit, which wasn't brilliant or rubbish, basically. But when I get to play it on my own kit, I'm sure it's the same for you as well. You feel a lot more comfortable and you know what's going on within the tracks and you feel comfortable in what you're doing, moving around the kit and being dynamic,
Yeah, and that's the thing, like for your snare hand, so to speak, all the ghost notes and things like that. There's a full sense of security if you're on a plastic or a mesh head.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, yeah, this is lovely. And then you get on a real snare drum and you might have a nice 14 by 6 or something, and you're like, oh. You know, you're like,
We've
oh
got an
yeah,
issue
I've got
here.
to put a little bit more in to get those
Yeah,
ghost
yeah,
notes.
exactly.
You
You've got to put a bit more into it.
Go around to a 16 to 18 floor tom, and you're like, oh,
Oh, I really have got to pick my hands
yeah,
up. Oh,
yeah.
right, okay, right.
Yeah, it's just, and that's the thing. You're keeping that appreciation and that understanding of that.
Yeah,
Really is.
totally. Yeah. I
It's
totally get
kind of
that. Yeah,
important.
excellent
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh man,
Well,
this has been great.
it's been really, really good, man.
It's been really good. I've really enjoyed this
Yeah.
actually. Really good. I'm
Thank
sorry
you
I
so
couldn't.
much for doing it.
And yeah, I'm just like, I'm just so happy to be doing this. Actually,
Yeah,
it's really good to do this kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
that's
So I
great.
can just pass on what I experience as a
Yeah.
professional drummer to other people. It's such, it's a privilege, really.
Well,
So I'm really honored.
hopefully we can have you on again sometime with some other
Yeah,
questions from some of the
absolutely.
other
It'd
mentors.
be amazing. Yeah,
That would
it'd be
be
great to
absolutely
come back
ace.
and be on your in mentor uh, web chat
Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant.
podcast.
Yeah. Well,
No
thank you very much, Derrick. It's absolutely brilliant.
problem, Lars.
I hope all of you out of there have got some nice little, cheeky little professional snippets from this fantastic man, and go away, take it in, absorb it all, and enjoy your own playing, whether that's just hobby, professional, whatever you're doing with it.
Yeah,
And thank you for me,
great.
and thank you from
Yeah.
Derrick, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.
I just
Take
want to
care.
say one more thing.
Yeah,
I just
go
want to
for
say
it.
a big, massive thank you to yourself, Lars, for having me
Oh,
on here.
pleasure, man.
But also thanks to everyone out there who supports me as a drummer, as a musician, even as an artist with the music that I do and release. Without you, I wouldn't be here. So, it's a real honor to be here. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Lars. Excellent.
Well, thank you, Derrick. That's been absolutely brilliant, and see you all guys on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.